Got a bad case of bedhead. Hi, Levon. How are you?
Hi, Doc John. I'm new to this.
Welcome, welcome. So how did
Just
you
a
find out?
just a minute. I will just hang on. Just a minute. I just found it on GitHub link. So I was just trying to find to contribute to GraphQL. Like in my company, GraphQL was using. So I thought of like, hey, why can't we just contribute to GraphQL? Yeah, and then found out that there is a meeting session there. So I just joined it. So what's things going on
You
and
don't
how can I
happen to
contribute?
be a you don't happen to be a TypeScript developer, do you?
Yeah,
You are?
uh, yeah. I'm just learning and I'm building it.
Fantastic. Well, I'm really glad you're here. I'm glad you found this place. This is probably not the one you were looking for. This is the community working group. So we're kind of focused on Benji can point you in the right direction when he gets back. Uh,
Yeah, sure.
he's logged in as GraphQL Foundation right now, but um, the the GraphQL working group, that's the stream and the meeting and the group that actually contributes to the GraphQL project. So please stay and get to know us. We're happy to have you.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Hello,
Hello, Uri. How are you?
how are you?
I was talking to my friend Ben this morning, and he
Ben,
seems to be yeah, Ben Hutton. He seems to be
yeah,
pretty happy.
yeah, I'm very happy. He's amazing.
I love Ben.
Yeah, yeah, he's really amazing. It's interesting because um, working in the open API space, like there's so many similar stuff and
Same
similar
problems, right?
gaps. Yeah, like similar gaps, and
Yeah.
it's fun to like really tackle stuff there. And yeah, there's a lot coming. I'm really
Yeah.
excited about working together.
He, yeah, when he first heard about when you first reached out to him, he reached out to me.
Nice.
He's like, "Hey,
Thanks
you know the guild.
for
You know the guild, don't you?"
yeah.
And I said,
Awesome.
"Only good things."
Thank you. Thank you. I really
Hey,
appreciate it.
I mean, credit where credit is due. You guys do fantastic stuff. It's a great group of engineers, in my opinion.
Thank you. Thank you. I
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate it. It's um yeah, I really like a lot of really fun stuff are gonna happen from this. Yeah, he's building really cool shit and it's all like the guild stuff, like everything will be open sourced, everything will be
That's
yeah,
it. Like that's one of the things that makes Ben such a good fit is the open source ethos that you both share.
yeah, 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 yeah. And yeah, it's been fascinating to work together. Yeah, 100%.
He's very
I'll say it like that. More stuff will be published this year, later on this year, but yeah.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Yeah.
I think everybody's here now.
Yeah. Wait, let me write some.
For most people.
Mm, okay. Um, why is this? Why can't I see the window? Okay, I have that done. Yeah, everyone is here. Should we start? Benji, you want to run it or you want me to run it? How do you prefer?
You go ahead, Uri.
Or
Okay.
I could do it. Or Jim or
You
Jim
want?
could do it. Jim could do it. You want to do
Jen,
it,
you
Jen? No, she's not this time. She could totally do it.
I know. Wait, let me find the notes.
Yeah.
I used to log in and now I lost it again. Sorry. Um,
Got it.
I'll pop them in the chat.
Yeah, so I guess we need to start by everybody doing their like one-line introductions, or say
Right.
more about yourself if you would like. Who are you, and what organization do you represent, if you want to share that information?
yeah, and we'll go through the order of on the
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah.
So you're up, Levon.
Pardon?
We're going through introductions, so you can introduce yourself and whatever you want to share about yourself.
Yeah, hi team. This is Lavan from India. So, personally speaking, I'm just currently a final year grad, CSC grad. I thought of working to this group and do more contribution in terms of both documentation or coding stuff. Like in my projects, as well as I'm doing intern companies, we used to use GraphQL for some projects, and they just found GraphQL GitHub and found there's a code for this. We can meet, share ideas. So it's new to me. Once again, so thanks a lot. Very much.
I am thrilled that you found us. You might want to talk to either Uri or Benji about how to get connected with the meetings for contributing to the project. This group focuses on the community, but this was a good way in, I think. And maybe Benji or Uri, maybe one of you guys could reach out to Levon to get him connected with contributing code to the project.
Yeah, feel free to reach out. My personal email is public on the GitHub page, so you can just feel free to reach out to ask for any questions, and I would love to. If you need directions or just general questions, feel free to ask. Welcome. We're happy you're here.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
So I'm Doc Jones, and I'm here. Jim?
Yeah, I'm Jem. I work at GraphOwl with Benji on our little open source company. Yeah.
I'm Uli. I work at the Guild. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I think
Hey
Sahar
folks.
up here, but yeah.
Yeah, Sahar isn't here yet. Hey folks, I'm Benji from GraphOwl.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff from Apollo.
What a great group. Okay. So everyone who is in attendance has agreed to the membership agreement, including guidelines for participation and contribution, and also the code of conduct. So we're all very well behaved. Do we have a volunteer for taking notes for this meeting? Or Benji, do we have AI note-taking on board yet?
We do. I just got it up and running this morning. Hooray! So we actually have had the AI note-taking running for a few weeks now. But like it just goes into some web page in Zoom's interface that is incredibly hard to extract from. I mean, you can
Ooh,
just go and copy and paste.
I've got a
right? But
bookmark
it's-
lit for you. I've got a bookmark lit for you. I do this enough now that it'll extract all of the information and put it into Markdown.
So I've managed to do it so that it's all scripted now through my weekly
look at
sync
you.
scripts, which is great. But yeah, it was a nightmare because we don't have admin privileges on the Zoom account. So you can't directly list everything. I had to find backwards ways by like paginating through the recordings so that I could get the meeting IDs to then fetch directly. It was a whole thing, but I've got it working. So yes, we should have automatically synced AI notes now. That said, human notes often capture things that the AI doesn't, and we will recognize things that are important that the AI might not as well. So it is still valuable to have human note takers. I'm happy to be one. Please, the document is open. Everyone can contribute to it in real time. So please do contribute.
Fantastic. We have the technology. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have on the agenda. I think first we have ready for review, which is the website, and then based on a comment that Uri has made a couple of times, I have a question for him. And then we also have the survey. Martin is not here because he has a Android developer conference that he's attending. And then Jim has a couple of items that are tied to issues in the community working group repo. And then, Uri, is this a separate agenda item update? Or
No, I
or is
mean,
it
I
part of-
can take mine at the end. I just in terms of it's good to go through point number 6 just to tell people, like, if you want to add your stuff to the agenda, you can now mark your issue as like ready for review. But I already have an agenda item anyway on number 11, so we can go through everyone's stuff, and then we can finish with the update on the design. I
Oh,
think
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that little job aid and making that available so that we can use that going forward, because that looks to me like a really good idea.
Yeah, it's
Um,
copied shamelessly from the other working groups. I just adjusted the link. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so more than once I've heard you talk about empowering the community. It also came up during the discussion when we were defining objectives and that sort of thing. And so when you talk about this group focusing on or delivering on empowering the community, can you flesh that out for me a little bit, or flesh it out for all of us, and tell us what you mean by empowering the community?
I don't know why it's me specifically. Like, I have my own opinions, but like, I mean, I think
You wrote it in the discussion of the
yeah, I can say my opinion on it, but I had this. Let me find it. I think my opinion is kind of summarized in the. Let me find. I know where to find it. Wait just a second. Oh. I'll link to it. Yeah, there was this comment that I think was basically sharing my thoughts on like how we want to run the group, and what should we prioritize, and what should be at least the initial goals. So the second point there is unblock and empower community initiatives. That's my personal opinion. My personal opinion was to support people that are already doing stuff in whatever they want us to help them with. The reason I'm saying it like that is, like, unlike, let's say, incentivizing people that are not doing stuff to do stuff, which is a different thing, and also helping people with what we assume they want and not what they tell us they want. So that's my personal opinion. Like, get the people that are doing stuff here and aware of us, and then ask them, how can we help them? That's
See,
how I imagine.
this is perfect. Thank you. This is perfect because it actually, you know, I kind of wanted to, this is what I suspected that you were saying, because my experience in open source projects or anything where people are volunteering their time is that the project can accomplish whatever the volunteers want to offer. And so if you try to steer them, you will lose them. But if you let them come and offer what it is they want to offer, and figuring out, you know, how to do that is, or how to set up the community apparatus, if you will, to support that kind of activity, I think is, should be a well understood objective. Not just growing the community, but also the way you put it is empowering the community and your expanded. I mean, I don't know what other people think. I would be interested to hear. Jeff, you look so intense.
Oh, sorry,
And
that's
engage.
not intentional. I'm very relaxed.
Yeah, that's yeah, it was anyway. So do you have any thoughts?
I think most of what's been discussed right now falls into what I would expect from a group like this. Like we want to build a bridge and give the community a chance to, community members, right? Motivated community members, or to a chance to like stretch their wings, figure out what we can accomplish, and then figure out the framework for how to support them within, you know, with the resources that we can bring to bear. And as long as they're, that, I think that's really like the main thing. Looking for folks who want to contribute and finding ways to, like as Uri said, to empower them. So good.
Yeah, there was an interesting conversation on LinkedIn this week that observed, and it was a senior engineering manager talking about why he got involved in open source in the first place. And one was to learn, the other was to get some recognition. And so I think this is an area that a lot of communities struggle with, is how do you identify people who are, you know, making a substantial contribution, and how do you recognize that contribution, or how do you encourage them as they start to contribute? I think mentorship is an important piece that we haven't really delved into deeply so far yet, and what that would look like as part of the community program. You've been doing this for a long time, Benji. What do you think?
I mostly try and just make sure that people, just like Uri says, get what they need to do what what they're trying to do. So a lot of the time it is people coming out and saying, you know, I'd like to get this, or how can I get this change merged, or how can we address this problem? And often the guidance there is like showing what the processes are and helping get them on board with those processes. Sometimes it's a little bit more complex. Sometimes it's, you know, maybe someone's been organizing some meetups and they need a bit more support to do that. So for those things, you kind of need a program. And so we need to find out from people like that what they need, and then come up with rules for it so that we can essentially give that help to everyone in that position. So yeah, sometimes it's individual, sometimes it's group based. And I think part of the issue as well is, like, as you say, defining what empowering the community means also defining what community means. And we've got a number of different communities that we care about here. One is the community of people who work on the spec, who work on the documentation, who work on the website, who work on the reference implementation, who work on the developer tooling within the foundation, like projects. And then there's the broader community who build, external developer tooling that's critical for the success of GraphQL and other tools and clients and servers and schema generators and documentation generators and everything like that. And then we've got another community of people who like to just share the word of GraphQL, who like to empower others as well to come and talk to others about it, to attend GraphQL focused events, to attend non-GraphQL focused events. So all of these are different communities, I think, that we can empower, and we can empower them in different ways. But sometimes they're more specific, like this one person needs help and we need to support this one person. And sometimes it's like, actually, there's a whole community of people like this and we need to support all of them. So yeah, it's an interesting challenge, but I think it's the right group to do it.
That was very well put. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, that was a lot of.
Dovetailing on that. Oh, apologies, Jock. I apologize.
No, go ahead, Jeff. No, Jeff.
Yeah, I was.
you're up.
Like dovetailing on that a little bit, like thinking about, like when I think about the folks that we encounter who submit abstracts to, say, the conference CFP, right? Like that's a great example of folks who could fall into any number of these categories, but oftentimes are folks who are spreading the word of GraphQL to GraphQL users at work or in a passion project of theirs and want to talk about what they learned doing it. And those are the folks I think who oftentimes need the most guidance. I don't know if this group can provide guidance per se, but it would be great to seek participation from that group, right? And to lead them to understanding. I think somebody, oh gosh, my memory is so bad, but somebody just said they wanted it for like recognition, right? I think recognition was
Yeah.
one, and to get to know folks and everything like that. Like that, it's a great, it can be a great career booster. And I think really telling that story too is helpful. Can we expand our umbrella and get folks into spending a couple hours a month or whatever it is that they're comfortable doing to figure out, to say something, to be able to have some structure behind what it is that they want to say, or to be able to pitch in some way. And that could take any number of forms, but to me, it's like broadening that horizon of folks that that feel welcome, that feel like this is something that they can do with their time. That's oftentimes the hardest part, is just breaking through whatever their routine is and saying, hey, we're here. You could be a part of this. We're not scary.
And we will help
and
you.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah, exactly.
that was
Like we don't know
point,
what,
and we
show
will help
us.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so the two in my background, so this is a sample size of one, everybody be aware. But the two large open source projects that I got involved with, first was the Python Software Foundation and the Python language, and the second one was the Rust Foundation. And my experience in both of those instances was I came in through mentorship. So there's the Python Software Foundation has sort of an add-on. These are projects that are much larger than this one, but Rust has a reputation for being very welcoming, and they do have, have had, like, from their early days, a list of mentors, people who would sign up and volunteer. I will mentor on, like, this part of the code. I will mentor on, teaching you how to do async Rust, or I will mentor on the compiler, or I will mentor on, for beginners, I will only mentor beginners in the language and that sort of thing. And then the Python Software Foundation had something that was a bit more structured and happened on the last day of every conference that they did. And the Python Software Foundation does a lot of conferences, but they had this thing called mentored sprints is what it was called. and they would pair maintainers who were looking for help with newcomers who were looking to figure out how to contribute to the project. And they would have the goal was for this new person to land their first PR that day. So they would work with maintainers and they would come with, this is what we need. It's sort of like a kind of a precursor to Google Summer of Code, only on a much smaller scale, much smaller scale. So, and I know that like GraphQL is smaller than these other two projects that I talked about, but at one point Rust was much smaller as well, but they did have this list of mentors. And so I kind of want to inject this idea of mentorship as being part of how we empower the community. And it's also part of how we become welcoming. It's not just a matter of, hey, we're doing all this stuff, come over here, and then you're on your own, kind of. That's what open source feels like to a lot of people who are doing it for the first time, speaking from my own experience. So I just want to kind of lay that on the table, and maybe I'll add an issue and we can discuss it further. Thank you, Uri, and everyone. Jim, you're the only one who hasn't voiced some thoughts. So what do you have to say?
Yeah, I haven't voiced any because I'm just in agreement with everything that's been said, really. I was talking to Jeff sometime maybe last week, and he had a great phrase, which was getting from 0 to 1 being like the hardest part of a process. And
Yep.
yeah, I think if we can help people start, then that's great.
Okay, thank you. That was a very good point. And like, we should probably write down that phrase somewhere. Getting from 0 to 1. Okay, so now I'm going to transition quickly to the survey. This will be a very short topic. So there's been some discussion around, I guess, a concern that state of GraphQL. So there are analyst groups like Gartner and so on and so forth, and they do state of this or that, X, Y, Z, whatever. And that may imply that it is vendor focused. So the other thing about that is that Sasha runs state of lots of things as well, and they're all developer surveys, which was the case for the very first, well, the only version of the state of GraphQL survey that he has run. So we're in an interesting spot, which is we have his code base, which he is not only willing to, it's open source, so we can just adopt it. But in addition to that, because it's not well documented and was basically constructed by a single developer, he's willing to do a walkthrough of the code base with us. And I think, there's possibility that he might also, out of this deal, be looking for like some contribution back to however we like end up improving his survey platform. But the difficulty has been getting any response. I am not a TypeScript developer. I speak Python and Rust, and that's pretty much it for my languages. So I did reach out on the Discord and added Uri, but I think he was otherwise engaged and didn't see my request to ask if we could get some help from the guild on just accomplishing the code walkthrough with Sasha. My concern is that he has volunteered to do this with us now, and if we just let it drift into next month or the month after that, he won't be available, or won't be as willing to do the code walkthrough for us. So if not, the guild, if there's nobody available there, and I understand people have work to do, then I'm looking for suggestions on how we might, or how I might go out and attract a few TypeScript developers, at least a couple.
Unfortunately, we can't do that. I'll just mention that I think a couple of years ago we know the code base. We actually PR'd it a long time ago to upgrade it to like latest versions. It was 4 years ago or something like that. But unfortunately, at this time, we don't have someone to work on this.
Yeah, I kind of figured that was a situation, Uri. But so do you have any thoughts on, do you have any recommendations for me on how to go out and recruit a couple of open source?
I don't. I mean, I think it's related to the question you asked on the previous, or at least for me, the question you asked on the previous item. I don't know how to recruit people that are not doing it. I know how to support people that are doing it. So unfortunately, I don't have good ideas here.
Yeah, this is an issue that we've faced before. We had the maintainer of GraphQL.js step down, and that meant there was no maintainer of GraphQL.js for quite a while. And again, that was us looking for a TypeScript developer. Fortunately, we have had developers step up to do that now. Yakov and Yovi, and I think a few others as well, have also come back, from inactivity, which is great. But yeah,
Does
we're not really
Graphical
set
have
up to
a
say again.
maintainer? Does Graphical still have a maintainer?
Yeah, it's still got a number of people working on it. Ricky, Dima, a few others.
Okay, well, I just thought I would throw that net out there and see if I could. I'll just have to reach into my network and find somebody, because I think it's too good of an opportunity. Like there's already a code base, a platform out there that we can just adapt and adopt. So I guess I'll just take that on directly. Okay, that's the end of that. And Jim, you're up for number 9, an update for issue 22.
Yeah, so this is an issue from before our very first working group Zoom, actually. I just noticed that Uri opened one that was about how to make the content selection and planning for the conference more transparent. And that question fit quite nicely with something that Benji and I were working on with the conference committee. We have now launched an initiative that we've ended up calling Subject Matter Experts. And the idea is that we are reaching out to various project owners and maintainers, various Amsterdam or Netherlands-based companies, and other companies that are interested in GraphQL security and observability and things that really tick the kind of subjects that we want in our conference. We're reaching out to them to try and get them involved in the talk selection process. So last year, the talks were rated only by the TSC, and they were mostly focusing on the talk quality and who the speakers were and whether they felt that they were a good representation for GraphQL to go on the stage. So the focus of this is a little bit different. It's more about what actually do you want covered in the conference? What are the subjects and how exciting are these talks to you? And what are the new things that we missed last year, for example? So I just wanted to highlight that we've done that. As part of that process, I updated a section on the GraphQL website explaining the talk selection process as well, so that people knew not who is looking at their talks, but how the talks are selected, because there was no information public about that at all. So I wanted to just highlight that to this group because it was an open question. And then if there's anything more that the conference committee can look at to help it become more transparent, then do say, because the conference is in September, so there's still a long way to go, and we can still add things and do things to get it more transparent.
I think this is a great idea because the first conference, I think the conference committee voted, and maybe was the TSC involved, Uri, in 2023? Yeah, so I think having representatives from the community, actually like adopters and so on and so forth, makes that a lot stronger. So this sounds like a great idea.
Yeah,
also
so
regionally relevant, right?
Yes. So we have one person who, I don't know if he's actually in Amsterdam or just lives near there or something, but he's going to help us connect with some of the local GraphQL based companies to make sure that they're involved as well. And the initiative is live, so it would be great to get it shared about as well.
Is there anything that you need from this group to move it forward?
I don't think so. It's just getting it in front of people now, getting it in front of anyone that you think would be a good person on that panel, and seeing if they can volunteer some of their time. The hardest barrier now is going to be, we're asking for volunteers, and potentially volunteers who won't even be able to make it to the conference. So the more people we can get it in front of and talk up this idea, the better.
Okay.
Also, if you want to offer this to someone and they're like, oh yeah, I could maybe be convinced, find out what would convince them. Like, do they want a fancy new t-shirt? What's going to help motivate these people?
I think if you came to me with this
Perhaps a
request,
bow
my
tie.
very first question would be, what is the level of effort? So I think we need to define that, if you haven't already. Maybe you have, but we need to tell them, because it depends. Like different conferences have different processes around approval of the CFP, and some of them have a larger time commitment than others.
Yeah, just to cut you off there, Doc, because we are running short on time. We have outlined that. We've said exactly which week it is that they'll need to schedule it in on, and that it will take them an hour or two. So I'm hoping that bit's covered.
I don't feel like we're short on time. We only have 2 more items and we have 20 minutes. Anyway, okay. Next one, Jim. Ambassador program.
Yeah, so I think my understanding of the kind of the live meetups is just kind of a report of what we've been working on. So the ambassador program issue on the working group repo was actually like issue number 1, which I thought was really informative. Behind the scenes, again, is something that Benji and I've been talking about as GraphQL community gardeners, and so we were already thinking about this just as this working group was beginning. I think almost everyone here actually is aware that it's now an RFC on the repo, and I have enjoyed looking at everyone's comments and questions, and so I hope we can work together to really finalize this proposal that we can then take back to, I think probably the marketing committee is probably the folks that are going to be looking at this. Sort of a marketing initiative, isn't it?
Yes.
Community and ambassadors. So anyway, whichever committee we take it to at the foundation. So I mean, there's plenty of time to get it sorted out, really. What I'm thinking is that the nominations are going to be kind of on a rolling schedule rather than like one intake each year. So if we have our first ambassadors in the lead up to the conference, that would be nice, or we could launch it at the conference. I don't think there's any pressing massive narrow timescale on this. I'd rather take our time and get it right. But again, it's there just for everyone to chip in.
one of the things I wanted to highlight for this is where I was saying earlier, we've got these different levels of community. This is for the sort of the broader side of the community, the people who run local meetups, or the people who write great, excellent technical blog posts, the people who write tutorials or produce video content, who, you know, do all sorts of things like this, that are generally the people out there on the forefront representing the community and reaching out to further areas. People like yourself, Doc. So this is really there to support this kind of people. And I think it's going to be quite a flexible program. The idea is essentially to help identify these people, to give them the recognition that hopefully will help to, you know, give them a sense of motivation for continuing with this kind of thing, but also to open the door to giving these people more support, whatever it is that they need, whether it be financial help to travel to somewhere, or I honestly, we don't really know what else it is that people are going to need, but like, if we've got them recognized and they've already agreed to some basic terms, I think one of the things that we outline is the sort of ambassador code of excellence, which is essentially the code of conduct, but a little bit stronger. Once they've sort of agreed to that kind of thing, then we are, I think, much more able to support these people. So it's a good first step, I think.
Oh, I think, yeah, I think this fits like perfectly within all the objectives and definitely speaks to empowering the community. So yeah, I think it's a fantastic idea that you guys came up with, and that it's getting pushed forward the way that it is. Of course, my comments might have ballooned a little, but they're there to pick and choose, like however you feel like where they fit, Jim. So I mean, by the time I finished, you know, speaking to each of the sections, I was like, well, it's just a document. So you have it, and you're welcome to use it at your discretion. I think I would like to have a conversation in the future, and I know I can add an agenda item, but just to like foreshadow, I would like to have a conversation in the future of like, it's confusing to me that there's like a foundation community committee and a marketing committee, and I'm not really sure if they're under the foundation or they're not. And then there's this community committee. So yeah, it's starting to get a little difficult to follow for me. And I also think that we need to understand this well and document it for the community, so that when they step in, they know what door they're entering.
I think something to bear in mind there is that this working group is actually relatively new. And it's something that the GraphQL community themselves are working on, whereas the committees that I've mentioned are committees that work within they are foundation members, and they have been working all along over a number of years. And the style of how do these foundation committee members and groups fitting with this new community working group is still very new. So there isn't anything to document yet, because we don't really know yet.
Okay, I think we can figure it out. I would like to understand it. Uri, it's all you.
Can we go to Jeff?
Jeff is holding his
Yeah,
hand
just
up.
real quick, just as on this one too, I would just like to, well, first of all, I'm really excited about this, and I've said this in another forum, but really excited about the ambassador scheme, and I think this is a great way to frame it. And as always, the 0 to 1 thing is the hugest one. So like, if somebody comes to us and says, I want to be an ambassador, I think we should be really flexible on, you know, hey, what do you want out of this whole thing, and build it around them first. You know, providing obviously, you know, that we're able to meet them where they're at, but to the extent that we can do that, we should consider doing so.
Well, Jeff, I would be happy to help with that, since I think earlier Benji just named me the first ambassador. I'm just kidding.
All right, there we go.
He said people like me. That's why I'm just anyway, Uri,
Absolutely.
save us, Uri.
Sorry, before we move on, yeah, absolutely. If you can share with us people that you think would make great ambassadors as well, whether they're just whether they're your colleagues, whether they're people that you see on social media, or writing books, or whatever you think, just send their names our way, maybe with a sentence or two about why you think they'd make a good ambassador, because it would be great to shape this around that kind of person, and also reach out to those people and find out what it is that they need and how we can best help them. Because anything that's good, what's good for them is often what's good for GraphQL as well, right? If they've written a book about GraphQL, it's good for them to publish that book and for it to be promoted, but it's also good for GraphQL to have more books out there. So this is often mutually beneficial, and we should really lean into helping these folks. So yeah, help us find out who they are.
Oh, Benji, you just triggered another thought stream for me. So I think that we're going to see, and I think we should want to see ambassadors that bring different skill sets and different goals. And so there's some ambassadors who are going to want to go out and speak. They're going to want to give presentations at meetups and conferences and that sort of thing. And you'll have others who want to be ambassadors in social media. That's really where they're sort of already focused. You'll have some people who want to do video, maybe demos. The guy, I can't remember his name. What is the guy's name who did all the incredible videos all about GraphQL for years and years?
Jamie Barton, maybe?
Jamie Barton?
Yes. He would be like the quintessential GraphQL ambassador, but he's not doing it anymore. But somebody might want to do that sort of thing. So I think it's important to make sure that the ambassador program is flexible enough to consider all those kinds of contributions, and how we can have people contribute how they the way that they want to, big and small.
Strong agree. Also, in response to your other question from before, and I think that this might tie in a little bit to Uri's website topic as well, because describing what the difference between these things are is really, really important. But essentially, there's two parts to the GraphQL organization, if you like. There's the foundation and there's the technical project. And the foundation doesn't do technical stuff. It only deals with the money side of things, organizing events, organizing people, that kind of thing. And it leaves all the technical stuff to the technical half, which is managed by the TSC, the Technical Steering Committee. So all of these public working groups, the GraphQL WG, the Graphical WG, the Composite Schemas Working Group, the Nullability Working Group, the GraphQL JS, all of these all fall under the Technical Steering Committee, and they're all our public technical work. The Community WG is an interesting one. It still technically falls under the TSC, but it's essentially a gateway between the TSC and the technical groups and the foundation. The foundation has the subcommittees themselves. Those are all managed and run by the foundation, and they're private because that's basically what the charter for the foundation itself has, and that's something that we might be looking at changing and becoming more public. But those ones tend to deal more with how the money is spent, on conferences, on the various programs.
Right.
So generally the technical ones don't care about the money. We just say we need this thing to happen, and then we chuck it over the line to the foundation, and then they see what they can do to make it happen. And some of us act as the go-betweens between these two groups. I hope that helps a little.
It does, and I'm glad that the AI note taker is going to capture all of that, because we need to document that somewhere. We need to write that down so that it doesn't require a synchronous interaction for people to understand what that layout is. Okay, Uri, you're not sure what happened, but I think we have enough time to go over the website.
Yeah, thanks. I would also add, like, for the, where the community working room fits with the other working groups and about documenting it and everything. It's worth opening an issue and starting a discussion about it. Like, the first meeting had a lot of like content related to that, but let's open an issue and discuss everything there. I think, I mean, I personally have a lot to say on that, but like, let's start like everything, start with an issue, put all our thoughts there, and when it's ready to like a debate or like or something like that, then we can bring it here. I think it's important, and it will be ongoing. So again,
I agree.
Something very initial, but will evolve to the most natural place and the most beneficial place in this community.
That's a
working
really important
will go.
point. I just want to say one thing. As a developer advocate, having done that work professionally, I will tell you that organizations do not agree where an advocacy or ambassador program should live. They don't all agree. Sometimes it's in engineering. Sometimes it's in product. There's no product group here, but I guess you could think of the technical work as a hybrid of engineering and product. And sometimes it's in marketing. I think, at least to me, well, I should probably leave this for the issue. Go ahead, Uri.
Yeah, I also have a lot to share there. I agree with 100% with what you said. There's also the open versus closed thing. Like, there's a lot of stuff to discuss. So that's why I want to put it in an issue, because even if we had like 5 hours, I don't think we would cover everything. So, but I'm really encouraging to start the issue. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, very good
for the website. First of all, thanks everyone for all the very valuable and thoughtful feedback. Like, I'm really happy with the first version, and I'm really happy with the feedback, and also with the discussions that are ongoing on the issue. Like, it actually gives us, like, we make a lot of progress without needing to meet each other. So really thank you for that. I know it's not easy it's sometimes easier to just meet and talk and point, but sit down and write the comments, and like, I know it takes time. So thank you very much. This is really, really valuable and helpful. So this is keeps on going. I think the first thing that I would say is like, encourage everyone to share it with everyone you think would have an opinion on it, because yeah, we need as much eyes on that as possible. So please, like, share it with as many people as you can. I think from what I see currently, a lot of the comments are less about the overall direction. Well, there's something related to that I'll touch a bit, but like, overall, it feels to me, I guess my main question for this group, and I also wrote it in one of my previous comments, it feels to me that we have a lot of stuff on the landing page to keep. We have to debate texts, we have to debate like positioning of different messages, what is more on top, what is more on bottom. I think there's certain messages that we can even rethink on how to express them better. But overall, it feels to me like we are ready to get, as we continue to discuss these things, and we can open like sub issues on all of those, it feels to me like we're kind of ready, at least in overall design, to start looking at more pages of the website, meaning like start getting like an initial version of a design of the learn section, of the community section, which there I think there will be tons of debate on like content, and a lot of the stuff that we talked today here about how to highlight the foundation, the community, and the working groups and all of that. Like, this is a good chance to like rethink how it's structured right now and how to structure it better. So that's what I'm hopeful to start in parallel to the small discussions on, like, not necessarily small, but to discussion on, like, let's say the title, the main title, what it should be, or how we can highlight more the idea of the community, or how we can like get some even more messages for not only enterprise enterprise companies, but also like, you know, full stack TypeScript solo developers. There were a lot of good ideas on the discussion there. So I wanted to like just ask or just put out there that I think it's good time to start other pages, and if someone wants to say no to that, like let us know, or to bring it up now. And it also maybe would give us if we have this, so you know, the general colors and the design of everything is okay, we might actually get the design team to also look at the on the GraphQL conf website to like make it even nicer with the same design language, maybe even in time before the conference. Yeah. Wait, I don't see the. I'll read the question, Benji. Already. No, this is a great idea. I'll submit. I'll submit to the main working group. 100%. Yeah.
Okay, I was trying to be polite and raise my hand, but since
Yeah.
since we're so short on time, I'm going to forego the pleasantries and politeness. So I started to look at the website design and everything that was in place, Uri, and I sort of found myself unable to give feedback because it felt like the top level stuff was missing. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. So we have, just like Benji pointed out, we have these different audiences, right? So if we define what our audiences are and then build a value proposition for that audience, that, you know, what is the value of GraphQL for enterprises? What is the value of GraphQL for SMEs? What is the value of GraphQL for the different target audiences that we have? And so, like, I mean, you know, definitely vendors is part of that. I mean, we've got a spec, for God's sake. So we would expect, you know, our audience to speak, or rather our website to speak to that audience. And so it seemed like, you know, I felt like I was trying to work at like two levels at the same time, and it just wasn't making sense for me.
I know I'm just want to say one thing because I have a hard stop at the time.
Yeah.
But I'll just say that we've done that. So if you read the full all the comments, we have ended the comment that on the first meeting that we had. First of all, the first goal of the work, and I'll give the background, but then we can keep discussing it online. One is like the first goal of the working group is to broaden the size of the community. Like there's the three goals.
That's our goal. The value proposition.
Let
to
me
the goals of
finish
the users.
so then, because of that, we chose two types of users. One is enterprise companies, and the other one is full stack TypeScript developers. And then what we've done is to look at the value propositions for those two types of users and what is unique about GraphQL for those two types of users. And then all the content that is currently on the page is focused on those two types of users. There are more users. Some of them are in the, if you see at the table at the top of like, is GraphQL right for me? There's a bit extra stuff for like AI and like other use cases, but the two main, every beneficial or any almost, I think every point that is making there is mostly touching on, is it good for enterprise customers or is it good for full stack TypeScript developers? So those were basically the process of building the content.
I have a lot of questions that we can't possibly deal with in the time available to us. So
submit them on the issue. And if you want to meet after, let me know. I can also meet and go through everything and discuss. But I'm sorry, I have a hard stop at the hour. Really, really sorry. But
Yeah,
you
no,
can.
that's okay.
Okay.
It's
Anyway,
understandable.
Okay, I gotta
I'm
run.
sorry that I can continue. But yeah, thanks for all the feedback on the issue and the feedback here. Super valuable.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
There they go.